sesh on just-in-time. So just-in-time is a type of lean production. For details on lean production, click the card up there. Now, just-in-time, it's a stock or inventory management technique. And essentially, it's looking at how much stock or inventory you should hold. Crudely put, should you hold a lot or should you hold a little or even none? If you decide to hold a lot, that is sometimes known as just in case or buffer stocks. For details on that, click the card up there. Now we're dealing with just in time, which is the opposite of just in case. So it's about holding very little stock, or even in its purest form, holding no stock. Now, just in time, limited stock or inventory. And the idea is that the stock or inventory arrives just in time for the sale or the production. Now, the benefits or the pros of just in time are as follows. Well, firstly, it's a type of lean production, so it's going to lead to reduced waste. Reduced waste for a variety of reasons. Firstly, you're holding less stock, less inventory, and that will mean that there's less need for storage costs for holding that inventory or holding that stock. Also, that leads to less labour with reference to those storage facilities or overheads. Additionally, if you have less stock, there's less risk of these things happening to your stock, not being sold, becoming obsolete, or going off if it's some type of foodstuff, maybe in hospitality. Additionally, because of these reasons, it's likely to lead to you having higher cash flow. Higher cash flow gives you the ability to be flexible financially to other opportunities. Now, the second benefit of just-in-time is greater productivity. Greater productivity because just-in-time is a pull method, as opposed to just-in-case, which is a push method. A pull method because the production, in the case of the stock for that production being just-in-time, is being driven, it's being pulled by the end customer. The end customer makes the order, and therefore immediately there is a time pressure on the business to fulfill that order. Therefore, there is added responsibility placed on employees within the operations team for the business. They might have to additionally look to quality control the stock or the inventory that has come in from the supplier. All of this added responsibility could lead, in the case of some employees, to becoming more motivated, and more motivated will lead to greater productivity. The disadvantages or the cons of just-in-time. Well, the first is that it's likely to lead to a higher average unit cost. The reason why is because in just-in-time, you are ordering smaller purchases. Smaller but frequent purchases, and that may mean that you are unable to get purchasing economies of scale. More details on that, click the card up there. So lots of deliveries also will additionally put higher pressure on your logistics team. So you will need to have a robust and effective communicating logistics team. Do you have the staff for that? Number two is that you are going to be in just-in-time very reliant on the supplier, because if they fail to deliver, or they fail to deliver on time, or there's quality issues with the raw materials or the components that are in that inventory or stock, then it may lead to no production or no sale, and that's an issue. And additionally, you are very reliant on the supply chain, because there may be a supply chain for you and the supplier. It affects both of you. Very reliant there, important point. Number three is that in just-in-time, there is a risk of you failing to meet unexpected demand, particularly if your supplier is unable to be flexible when there is unexpectedly high demand. If that happens, it may lead to a loss of sales for you because you have lots of orders coming in, but you can't fulfill those orders, and that could lead to reputational issues. Now, the key considerations to consider on a just-in-time question are as follows. Number one is how reliable and flexible is the supplier. If they are very reliable, if they are very flexible and you have a good relationship with them, particularly they may be near to you, so those deliveries are very easy to fulfill, well then just-in-time may make sense to you as opposed to just-in-case. Secondly, is that if there is a predictability of sales, then that makes just-in-time easier to manage. But if you often have very unpredictable sales, or you are in a period of uncertainty and it is difficult for you to predict what your sales are going to be for the next year or so, or the next month even, then just in time will be very difficult for you to manage if it is very unpredictable with the case of your sales, particularly if they're very volatile. And number 3 is that the relative size of your storage costs are going to be important, because how much are you saving here? If you have high levels of inventory or high levels of stock, it's likely these costs will be high. So in that case, it might make sense for you to use just in time, because you're going to make huge savings in this area. And that's why many secondary sector in businesses, such as manufacturers, will use just in time, because there's lots of efficiency gains that can be made from the lower storage costs and clearly the reduced waste that comes off of it. Well, I hope that helps with just in time, and I'll see you at the next sesh.